had a phone call.
What's unusual about that?
From New York.
New York?
A transatlantic person-to-person phone call. Did you know it's only 1 o'clock over there?
I know, they're 5 hours behind us.
It's amazing. I've nearly finished my tea. She hadn't even started lunch.
Who hadn't?
What?
Who hadn't started the lunch?
Judy Bell. Well, Judy Bell that was. Then, of course, Judy Polanski. Now, Franco. No, I tell a lie. Schwartz. Judy Schwartz.
Blimey, she's got a few miles on the clock.
What do you mean?
You saying she's been married 3 times?
Well, that's not unusual over there. I just wonder how much a call like that would cost. And she was in no hurry to get off that phone at all. And there weren't any pips. I thought there'd have been pips.
Never mind about the pips. Who is she?
Well, I suppose you could call her an old flame.
Well, why did she ring?
Oh, she's coming over to England in a few weeks. Wanted to look me up.
A voice from the past, eh, Dad?
Yes, and you know, it was as clear as a bell. 3,000 miles. You'd have thought she was in the next room.
Is Schwartz coming?
No, he's dead.
Oh, not another widow.
Now, wait a minute. Judy and I go back a long way. I knew her long before I knew your mother. Well, we were in the Blitz together. We were in the same shelter when they bombed Moorcroft Street. That means something. We were very close at one time.
What happened?
We quarrelled. At the height of our affair, she stood me up. We'd arranged to meet at the White Bridge, the one in the park, and she never came. Next time I saw her, she was with Tony Wright. He had a Vespa and she always wanted to travel.
Now she's got in touch, perhaps she still fancies you.
Well, it was over 30 years ago, Matthew. I wonder if she's changed.
I don't know about her. You certainly have.
Well, I may be a little greyer, a little thick around the waist, but I'm still quite presentable.
You're a stone overweight, Dad. Do you know what that's like? It's like carrying a bag of potatoes everywhere. Every time you go upstairs, you're carrying a bag of potatoes. Every time you bend over the flower bed, so does your bag of potatoes. Everywhere you go, it's Henry Willows and his bag of potatoes. And one day, if you're not careful, you're going to look like a bag of potatoes with feet.
Don't exaggerate.
When was the last time you buttoned your jacket? When was the last time you could get into your corduroy suit?
Yes, you're right, Matthew. Yes, I've abused my body for 30 years and now it's taking its revenge. Perhaps I should put her off.
Ah, there's still time to get in shape. You could go on a crash diet.
Oh, I don't know. Perhaps I ought to see a doctor first.
Why?
Well, they say you should get medical advice before you take weight off.
You didn't take advice when you put it on.
Oh, no.
It's the weight that's dangerous.
Yes, I suppose so.
You don't go to the doctor and say, I'm going out for a big meal tonight, will my body stand it?
Well, no.
Well, no, we'll start now. You don't need that.
Wait a minute. You don't need it either.
No, because she's not coming to see me then. How do you feel?
Tired, hungry, and irritable.
Good. It's beginning to work.
I don't think this jogging's a good idea, Matthew.
But, Dad, look at the improvement. Last week you could barely run down the road. Now you're really putting something into it. I can see the sweat running off you.
I'm not surprised. I've just been chased by a Rottweiler and he just got away.
You see? That's how much you've improved. Last week it had caught you.
Last week I wouldn't have been running. I hate jogging. I've just gone through the pain barrier tonight and I'm ravenous.
All right. You can have a banana.
If I had one more banana, I won't be jogging, I'll be swinging through the trees.
Oh, you've had all your diet bars, Dad.
Well, I've got to have something.
Don't crack now.
But what is it all for?
For Judy, she's coming next week. I thought so.
It's very light, Matthew. It's honeycomb centres. I'm eating holes most of the time.
I'm disappointed in you after all the sacrifices.
Now, wait a minute. I'm the one that made the sacrifices, not you. I'm sure I've lost weight.
We'll see, shall we? Have you been on the scales?
Now, just remember, I'm wearing a tracksuit and underpants. How much do underpants weigh?
Keep them on. You were wearing them when you started, and both feet on the scales. And take your hand off the bed rail.
Well,
Blimey.
what?
You've lost a stone.
Have I? I knew it. Matthew, leave the room. I'm going to try on my corduroy suit. Well, what do you think? I can get into it and I can button the jacket.
Yes, well done, Dad. Now I look at you, I can see you've lost weight. You're much thinner in the face.
Yep. What do you mean, thinner in the face?
Yes, it's a pity. Your face has gone.
Has it?
You've lost your face. And the neck.
Neck?
It's gone scrawny.
Well, what am I going to do?
Well, there's not much you can do. You can be fat with a smooth, plump face, or you can be slim with a skinny face. No, it's the skin that worries me.
Well, what's wrong with the skin?
There's too much of it. And it's gone sort of leathery. I suppose that's the diet. There's a lot of slack, and we've dried up all the natural oils. It needs feeding.
I think I'll have a fry-up.
No! You don't want to undo all the good work.
What good work? My face is gone and I've got a neck like a turkey.
Well, we can soon fix that. I'll get you some moisturising cream, give you a facial, tone up the skin.
No, that's beauty treatment. I'm not having beauty treatment.
Why not? No one needs it more than you. I'd like to do something with the hair as well, perhaps darken it.
You're not darkening my hair.
All right, what about streaks? It just means pulling it through a cap.
You're not pulling it through a cap either. No, I'll settle for grey and distinguished. Goes with a corduroy suit.
Yes. Pity about the suit.
What's wrong with the suit?
It's got flared trousers. Time for your mud pack, Dad.
Oh, not another one.
It's working wonders.
Well, how do I look?
Just like Peter Pan.
Are you sure?
When she sees you, she's gonna flip. She'll say, how's he do it? What's he taking? Or has he sold his soul to the devil?
All right, don't get carried away, Matthew. She's only coming to see me for old time's sake.
After 3 marriages, I think she's been carrying a torch for you all along.
Matthew, she's travelled the world. Met all sorts of people. What does she want with me?
Dad, you can take the girl out of Neasden, but you can't take Neasden out of the girl. She still remembers the boy next door. Now, get on with that mud pack. We'll have a go at those eyebrows later.
You leave my eyebrows out of this. What would people say?
No one's gonna know. Didn't you ever use beauty aids when you were young?
Well, all I ever used was Brill cream and a little boot black to emphasise the moustache. Didn't carry on like a drag queen. And I don't think this is working. The only way I'm going to improve this skin is take it off and iron it.
Don't you believe it? Last week you had more lines than Clapham Junction. Now it's as smooth as a baby's bottom. Now get on with that mud pack.
Hi.
Hi.
You're just like him.
Am I? Oh.
Your pa.
I wouldn't tell him that.
You are Matthew.
Yeah.
I'm Judy. Judy Schwartz.
But you weren't coming until next week.
Oh, I had to change my itinerary, Matthew. If I was going to take in Stratford and Spain and meet the Christmas in Rome, I had to get an earlier flight. The bottom line is I'm a week early.
Yep, that sure is the bottom line, Judy. Yeah, come through.
Well, where is he?
He's, out.
Oh, but I'd hope to spend the whole afternoon with him.
He'll have to take a rain check, Judy. He's, got something on. Can he meet you?
Yes, I'm staying at the Royal. Tell him to meet me in reception at 7:30 and not to be late. I don't want him standing me up again.
Wait a minute. He stood you up?
30 years ago. Almost broke my heart, Matthew.
The son of a gun.
I don't want to waste the whole afternoon. I thought I might try and pull in Mother's grave.
Good idea. I'll tell him you called.
Matthew, did I hear...
My God. Who was that?
Just a friend. Under treatment, I'm afraid. Yeah, I'll tell Pa to be there at 7:30. Have a nice day.
Well, how does it look?
As good as new.
No flares.
Only the nostrils.
What?
You're excited, aren't you?
Oh, I'm dreading it.
Why, she's lovely. You saw her?
Yes, and she saw me. in a mud pack. She must have thought, what a Jessie.
She didn't recognise your dad.
How do you know?
Because your own mother wouldn't have recognised you, not under 2 inches of volcanic mud.
No, I'm not so sure. Judy may have been flighty, Matthew, but she was never gullible.
He didn't know your dad, honestly. Ah, you smell good.
Yes, well, I thought I'd use plenty of spray. Forget the ozone layer for one night.
Good idea.
There's only one thing that worries me.
What's that?
The hearing aid.
You're not going to wear the hearing aid?
Well, I ought to.
Dad, after all we've achieved, why?
Because I won't be able to hear what she's saying.
You don't always wear it.
I know, but there'll be a lot of background noise, music, conversation. I don't want to look like a cretin.
Then do what you usually do, lip read.
No, I can't lip read Americans. They don't open their mouths enough.
Well, that's going to be a right turn off. You look like a pensioner.
I could keep my head turned away, I suppose.
You can't do that all night. You get a stiff neck. Well, we just have to hope she doesn't notice, that's all.
And there's another thing. Sometimes it whistles.
Whistles? I didn't know that when.
When someone gets close to it.
How close?
Well, close. Quite close. Well, sort of. Very close.
Oh. You expect to get close, then?
Well, you never know. We are old friends.
I see. Well, what I suggest is, once you've got onto her wavelength, slip it in your pocket and just feel your way.
What?
I mean, play it by ear, Dad.
Henry, after all these years,
Judy!
let me look at you. Yes, I would have known you anywhere.
Would you?
You've hardly changed at all.
Well, I'm a little grey, Judy.
You always were grey, Henry. You went grey after they bombed Moorcroft Street. But you look fantastic. How do you do it?
Just lucky, I suppose.
Oh, but you must work out.
No. I never bother with that sort of thing. Let nature take its course.
Well, what about me? How do I look? Have I changed?
No. You look wonderful.
Aren't you going to kiss me, Henry?
Can I get you a drink?
Well, I've ordered some champagne in my room. Is that all right?
Fine.
I expect they'll tell us when it's ready. Oh, sit down. We've got so much to talk about. I thought that after the champagne, we could just let the evening take care of itself.
Pardon?
I said we could just let the evening take care of itself. Let the wind blow where it will.
Let the wind
Blow where it will.
Why not?
I can't believe we're sitting here. I've traveled the world. I've been married 3 times. And yet the moments I've thought of sitting here with you, why is that, Henry?
Why is what?
Why I've often thought of sitting here in this place with you.
I'll tell you. Because you can take the girl out of Neasden, but you can't take Neasden out of the girl, Judy.
That's very true. You always were perceptive. Henry, if this evening works out, perhaps we could see each other again tomorrow. You could show me some of the sights, the river, the park, all the old familiar places. That champagne's ready yet. Henry, you see that woman by the door? Elderly, rather frumpish?
Yes.
We went through school together.
No.
It's true.
I don't believe
The
it.
same year.
Well, that's incredible. She looks 10 years older. 20. Judy, you see that man standing by the bar?
Oh, the one with the stick and the glasses?
And the twitch?
Yes.
I used to play football with him.
You couldn't have.
No, it's true, Judy. He's younger than I am.
But he can barely stand. What happens to people, Henry?
I don't know, Judy. Mind you, he did get kicked a few times.
Talking about the old days, whatever happened to Tony?
Tony?
Tony Wright.
Oh, he doesn't get out much. Heart.
Jimmy Lawrence?
Liver.
What about Gordon Snell, the Keep Fit fanatic? 50 press-ups a day.
Dead.
Henry, looks like we're the only ones left of the class of 43.
Well, the only one standing, Judy.
Oh, gee, Henry, I'm having such a good time.
So am I. Hey, I've got an idea. Why don't we meet each other tomorrow, and I'll show you all the old places. The park, the river.
I've already said that, Henry.
Oh, have you? Yes, well, it is rather noisy down here. Perhaps we should go up. It'd be quieter.
Why not? I expect the champagne's chilled by now. And I feel like taking my shoes off.
Why not?
What's that, Henry?
What?
On the table?
It looks like some sort of hearing device.
Then it's not yours.
Pardon?
It's not yours.
No, I'll hand it in at the desk. It certainly isn't mine.
Well, it certainly isn't mine.
No.
Mine never comes out.
You've got one?
Yes. So you needn't be embarrassed. Must have been the bombing in Moorcroft Street.
I thought... Well, I didn't want you to think I was ancient.
You don't have to worry. You look great.
Do I?
Yes. You must let me have the name of that mud pie.
It's Matthew.
Are you going to tell him, Henry?
He won't like it, Judy.
Well, he's got to know sometime. It's not that I've got anything against him personally. I just find him kind of subversive.
Oh, yes, he's subversive, all right. He's been subversive for years.
I don't like what he said about the president.
I don't like what he said about the president.
I just don't feel he'd be accepted back home.
What makes you think he's accepted here?
Hi, Par. Hi, Judy. You look swell.
I'll go and freshen up, Henry.
You're seeing a lot of each other, Dad. Must be the third time this week.
Yes, well, Judy's flying off to Spain tomorrow.
Oh, you'll miss her.
Yes. She said I like New York.
Did she?
Yes. In fact, she suggested a visit.
Oh, great. The Big Apple. I can't wait. I've got my bags packed already. New York. New York, what a wonderful town. Yeah.
You're not invited.
What?
You're not invited.
Let me get this straight. You mean I'm not invited?
That's the bottom line, Matthew.
Don't use Americanisms on me. Why not?
Well, for one thing, they wouldn't let you in. You're a communist.
I'll resign.
You mean you'd abandon your principles?
Yes.
Oh. Well, it's not just that. Judy doesn't think it's a good idea, and, well, not straight away. She thinks children can be disruptive in this situation, and she knows about these things.
Well, she's certainly had a lot of experience. All those marriages. Surprising the children had time to be disruptive. Think she must have a season ticket at that registry office. She'll probably get special rates.
Now, that's enough.
Married 3 times, coming up for 4. And what makes you think you'll succeed where Polanski, Franco and Schwartz failed?
Schwartz didn't fail. He died.
I wonder why. I don't like her, Dad.
Well, it's mutual, and it's your fault.
Well, I don't care. He won't like New York. You can't even drive on the left side, never mind the right. You'll be a pedestrian. That means you'll be either mugged in the subway or knocked down by a yellow cab. Would you like me to send a wreath or flowers?
And it's not definite yet.
After all I've done for you. Getting you into shape, getting your face right.
Well, if it works out, you can come for a holiday.
Can I?
And this is still your home. I'll give you a key.
Oh, that's great. I was a latchkey child, now I'm going to be a latchkey grown-up.
If I'm going to get that flight tomorrow, Henry, I better go and pack.
But I will see you before you go.
Yes, I'll meet you.
Where?
I know. What about the White Bridge?
The White Bridge.
Is that wise? Won't it bring back bitter memories, Judy?
On the contrary, I find it rather symbolic, Matthew.
Yeah, symbolic.
Yes, the Bridge of Sighs. Funny to think if you two had met that night, I wouldn't have been born.
Yes.
I suppose the moving finger writes and having writ moves on and all thy piety.
All right, Matthew.
I suppose fate never intended you to meet.
I don't know about fate. I was there.
So was I.
Funny you didn't see each other. Was it foggy?
No, it was a cold, clear evening. I stood there for 2 hours. I was frozen. He could have struck matches on me. If only you'd waited, Judy.
I waited, Henry. And I'd like to point out it's the only time in my life I've ever been stood up. I was very hurt.
Hurt? Well, you didn't look hurt when you were on the back of Tony Wright's Vespa.
I was on the rebound.
Some rebound.
Now, look, Henry, Henry, what are we arguing? It was 30 years ago.
Of course it was, and whatever happened, we're going to put it right.
Yes. I'll see you tomorrow, Henry. Goodbye, Matthew.
Bye.
I think you've just blown your holiday.
Something the matter, Dad?
You've done it again.
Done what?
Blighted my chance of happiness.
What's happened?
She didn't turn up.
That's nothing to do with me.
Isn't it? I waited an hour and a half. She never came. I phoned the hotel. She wasn't there. She didn't leave a message. She just stood me up. How could she have done it?
Never mind, Dad. It's only twice in 30 years.
Well, that's no consolation.
If it was twice, perhaps you did stand her up. Perhaps this is revenge.
I didn't stand her up.
Well, that's not what she says. Perhaps she's planned this for 30 years just to get her own back.
Matthew, I was there. I was there that night, and I was there today.
Oh. Which White Bridge was it?
I'll never trust another woman as long as... What do you mean, which White Bridge was it? Only one White Bridge, the one by the pavilion.
That's grey.
It's white, Matthew.
If you say so. I thought you meant the one by the bandstand.
Well, that's not white. Is it?
It's whiter than the grey one.
You mean there are two White Bridges? Well, why didn't you tell me? My God. You've done it again!
doing?
Filling in your student grant form.
Oh, how much do I get?
Well, all in all, it looks as if you get over 2,000 a year.
Well, that's not bad for a start, I suppose.
Not bad for a start. That's all you're getting.
I can't live on that.
Matthew, do you know how much a peasant has to live on in Costa Rica?
But he's not going to the poly, is he? And the residential fees are over £30 a week. That means I'll probably have £5 left for cigarettes, drink, clothes and travel.
I noticed you didn't mention soap or toothpaste.
Can't you make a contribution?
I am making a contribution. That's why I'm filling this form in.
I didn't know that. I thought the government paid.
Not in every case. Anyone in a more affluent position has to make a contribution.
Are we affluent?
Well, my salary is above average.
Does that mean we're middle class?
I suppose so.
I hope no one finds out. I'll never live it down.
Oh, don't worry, no one's going to take you for middle class. You've got a working class face.
Working class? I haven't got a job.
No, but if you had a job, you've got the face to go with it.
We're affluent. Why don't you do what David Worth's father's done?
What's that?
He's made him an allowance of $2,000 a year to get him through college.
You're forgetting Black Monday.
Black Monday?
Stock market crash.
Thought it was Tuesday.
It was pretty black on Wednesday as well. It was a meltdown, Matthew. I lost a third of my capital. Perhaps you don't remember.
No, I remember. That's when you turned the heating down and cancelled my new musical express.
Well, we had to economise. I used to be a bull. Now I'm a bear.
Oh. What are you putting down now?
This is confidential.
It can't be confidential from me.
Section D is. Section D contains my personal details.
Is that your salary?
Oh, yes.
It's not much, is it?
Yeah, well, that's only the basic. That doesn't take account of considerable fringe benefits.
David Worth's father gets twice as much as that.
Does he? Then perhaps you should go and live with him. You don't realise what a struggle this is going to be.
Can't you plead poverty?
Certainly not. Man in my position can't plead poverty. Besides, this salary could be substantially increased by the end of the year.
Why?
Promotion. Jim Osborne collapsed at the weekend. They found him stretched out among his runner beans. Speechless. They say it's overwork.
And you think you might get his job?
Well, I'm the next in line. Who else is there?
That's Fox.
Fox. Who told you about Fox?
You did!
Oh. Well, yes, there's Fox. He's always creeping around fielding, but it won't do him any good. I'm the front runner, Matthew. That job is mine.
Perhaps it'd be better if you didn't get the job.
Why?
I don't want to find you stretched out amongst the runner beans.
I need that job, Matthew. You don't know how much it costs to support you, the food, the clothes, the way you squeeze the toothpaste.
I do appreciate it, Dad. And you won't be sorry. You're investing in my future and I'll pay you back someday.
Yes, well, I can't wait that long. I need something on account. That means you're going to have to get a temporary job during the summer.
How temporary?
Till they find you out. Ted?
Henry?
What's it doing?
Oh, peeing down. You're in early.
Oh, there's lots to do.
Careful, Henry. Don't you go in the same way as poor Osborne.
You heard any more?
Well, all he was doing was raking up a few leaves and bingo. Out like a light. Hasn't spoken since. Overwork. There's a moral in that.
No, but he's indispensable, Ted.
Well, the work goes on, Henry.
Right.
All this means his job will be coming up.
Yes, I suppose they'll advertise.
Oh, no, they'll give it to you. You deserve it. After all, you've been doing all the work. Now, even if they do go through channels, it'll only be a formality.
Well, I'm not so sure. It's a question of qualifications.
Oh. Haven't you got any, Henry?
Only first aid and a medal in ballroom dancing. I don't think that will get me anywhere.
Never mind, you've got experience, old son.
Right. Will you put in for it, Ted?
Me? I haven't even thought of it. Now, it's your job, Henry.
Right.
Fox, you've got to worry about.
Fox?
Fox by name and Fox by nature.
He's late.
Oh, no, he's late. He's been waiting for fielding. Ah, they're coming in together. I thought so. He's sheltering fielding under his umbrella.
What?
You've got to hand it to him, Henry. He saw it was raining and hung about just in case FG forgot his brolly.
They're whispering.
Yes. You can do a lot of whispering under an umbrella, Henry.
Good morning, gentlemen. Post.
Who was that?
What?
Another temporary, I suppose. They're scraping the barrel there, Henry.
Excuse me, Fielding's office. Figures.
Hello, Dad.
Don't call me that. What are you doing here?
Fielding's having trouble with his blind. I said I'd take a look at it.
I didn't mean in this office, I meant in this building.
I've got a job for the summer.
Oh, no.
I thought you'd be pleased. You told me to get a job.
But not here. I've got enough to worry about. I can't be responsible for you as well.
Don't worry, I didn't say we were related.
Oh, that's something, I suppose.
Mind you, they'll probably spot the likeness.
What likeness? Isn't any likeness. And I think I should mention that FG doesn't like people wandering around his office without a good reason.
And you better get out. I'm fixing the blind.
Didn't know you were an authority on blinds.
I'm not, but I'm making myself useful. That's what you've always told me to do. You see, there's two of us down in filing and stationery, and there's not really enough work. Now, if they decide to let one of us go, they may just keep the man who knows something about blinds. Good thinking, eh, Dad?
Well, if there's not enough work, why don't you go? I'm sure you'd be happier stacking trolleys down at Tesco's.
Oh, I could be useful to you, Dad. I could keep my ear to the ground about the job.
Matthew, there may not even be a job.
You haven't heard, then?
What?
About Osborne? Hypertension, angina, and a pronounced cardiac murmur. He won't be coming back. Well, not to that job, no. What they're thinking of doing is to merge internal audit with special projects and bringing Osborne over Mason and Webb in a sort of sinecure position.
How do you know all this? You've only been here 5 minutes.
Heard it in the gents.
I don't care where you heard it. You can't go around saying things like that.
Am I interrupting something?
Ah, good morning, sir. I'm fixing the blind.
Well, get on with it then. Yes, Henry?
I just popped in to see how Osborne was, FG.
Grave news, I'm afraid. Hypertension, angina, and a pronounced cardiac murmur. He won't be returning to us in his present capacity, I'm afraid. Now, what we're thinking of doing, and I don't want this to go any further, is to merge internal audit with special projects and to bring in Osborne over Mason and Webb in a sort of
Sinecure position.
sinecure position. Yes, yes. And, anyway, one other thing, Henry. Osborne's job
Yes?
will be advertised.
Oh.
This isn't a criticism of you, Henry, but we must be seen to be even-handed. We can't afford the slightest hint of favoritism. But as the front-runner, you'll be expected to apply for the job.
Oh, of course.
Dugdale's coming down from the head office to conduct the interview.
Dugdale? Don't think I know him. What's he like?
He's a bastard, Henry. What on earth do you think you're doing?
Sorry, sir. Faulty blind. I'll have to get onto maintenance.
Where do they find these people, Henry?
For a drink, Dad?
No, I'm filling in my application. Get it out of the way. Mind you, it's only a formality.
Is it?
You know something.
All I know is you can't get a bet on it.
That's because it's a formality. I'm the front runner, Matthew.
Yes.
Well, I'm the only one that can do the job.
It's not what you know, it's who you know at International.
How do you know what it's like at International? You've only been here a week. You'll be telling me next that I'm not the favourite.
You're not.
Who is?
Fox.
Fox?
The umbrella man.
You mean I come after Fox?
No, you come after Walker.
Yeah. But he said he wasn't putting in for it. He wouldn't do this to me.
He's done it.
I can't believe it.
They say Walker's had more strings pulled from him than Pinocchio.
Well, I'm not worried. He and Fielding aren't that close.
They go to the same church.
Do they?
They pray together. You can't get any closer than that.
Well, that puts Fox out of the reckoning.
Don't you believe it? He's got Fielding tickets for Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, I didn't know about this.
You don't know what's going on, Dad. It's no use sitting there behind a pile of work. Fielding always says that a clear desk is a sign of efficiency.
Does he?
Yeah, so if you want that job, you better get through there and ingratiate yourself.
You mean creep? Well, I'm not going to creep. I'm going to get this job on merit.
Oh, Henry.
Yes, FG?
I won't be in this afternoon. Fox has very kindly got me tickets for Phantom of the Opera. Keep an eye on things for me, would you?
Certainly, FG.
Yes, well, I can see you're not terribly busy. Oh, dear. It's raining. Oh, I suppose I'll just have to get wet, that's all.
Mr. Fielding!
See that?
What?
Fox. That's a second jar of homemade jam he's taken.
Yes.
Something the matter, Henry?
You've put in for the job, haven't you?
Well, yes.
You said you wouldn't.
I said I hadn't thought about it.
And now you have.
Henry, I don't suppose I'll even get an interview. And if I do, I'll only be making up numbers. No, I thought it would be good experience for me. And I have to show management I have ambition.
Oh, you've got ambition. Pinocchio.
Pinocchio? Why'd you call me that?
You go to the same church as Fielding, don't you?
What if I do? I go to church to pray, Henry.
And what have you been praying for this week? Osborne's job?
Certainly not.
Ted, you're a primitive Methodist. What are you doing in a Catholic church?
I like the service.
You'd turn Buddhist to get that job, wouldn't you?
Henry, I have no intention of taking your job. I'm simply doing it for the experience. Don't you believe me?
Your nose is getting longer.
Really, Henry, I can't stand any more of these infuriating innuendos.
Careful, Dad. Remember what it says in the vacancy. Must be able to get on with staff.
He's put in for the job.
I told you.
Well, I know something he doesn't know. Now, keep this to yourself. It's confidential.
You're on the shortlist.
How did you know?
I had it in personnel.
Well, I hope he won't be too disappointed.
I shouldn't think so. He's on as well.
What?
And Fox.
Well, perhaps they're only making up the numbers.
Yeah. That'll probably go in during the afternoon.
Why?
Well, they say in personnel that these things are usually decided in the morning. When are you going?
4 o'clock. What's going on in there? I'm 20 minutes late already.
Walker's having a very good interview.
Is he?
Mind you, not as good as Fox. Fox had a superb interview.
I'm sure he did. I'm beginning to wonder whether it's worth going in. Obviously, I'm only making up the numbers.
Don't be defeatist, Dad. I've got a lot riding on this.
Have you? So you put money on me after all?
No, my money's on Fox. I had to be realistic. It's cut and dry.
And they say blood's thicker than water. Well, if you don't think I'll get the job, what are you worried about?
I'm not worried about you getting the job. Just don't want you to lose the one you've got.
What are you talking about? Fielding's got complete confidence in me.
It's not Fielding you've got to worry about. It's Dugdale. He's tricky.
Tricky?
And vicious, so watch yourself when you get in there. And don't offer to shake hands until he does. But if he does shake hands, make sure it's a firm, dry handshake. Dugdale gets hold of something that feels like a piece of wet fish, you're finished. Are you all right?
My mouth's gone dry.
Here. Chew this.
Thanks. What is it?
Bubblegum.
I can't go in there chewing bubble gum.
Don't worry, you've got plenty of time. They're laughing. That's a good sign.
Not for me.
Why do you keep walking about like that? Have you been to the toilet?
Twice.
Yeah, that's nerves.
I know it's nerves. Is there anything else you think I should know?
Yeah, when he speaks to you, look him straight in the eye. I'll respect you for it. Dugmore likes the candidate to be confident and assertive.
I thought his name was Dugdale.
It is.
Well, you just said Dugmore.
Oh, don't get his name wrong, Dad. He's very particular about that. Oh, and if he starts shouting at you...
Oh, he's not going to start shouting, is he?
Could do. You may want to see what you're like under pressure.
I think he's going to find out.
If he does start shouting, try the old POW trick.
What's that?
Imagine him stark naked.
Naked?
Without a stitch on. Make him look ridiculous in your eyes and you'll lose your fear of him. But don't overdo it, you may burst out laughing.
Don't worry. I won't feel like laughing.
Just don't let him talk down to you, Dad.
Matthew, if I manage to do all this, do you think he'll give me the job?
He might. Fielding won't. Forget all I've said when you're dealing with Fielding.
Well, that's very useful, I must say. Anything else you think you should tell me?
Yeah, get rid of that gum. It looks terrible.
Ah, Henry. Sorry to have kept you waiting. Would you like to come through?
Certainly, FG.
Close that door.
Sorry.
Sit down, would you, Henry? We won't keep you a moment. It's an important call from the chairman.
Right.
Comfortable, Henry?
Yes, thanks.
Good.
Willows.
Hello, Mr. Dugmore.
Dugdale.
Well, now, relax, Henry. We're not going to eat you. Although I know that interviews can be pretty nerve-wracking.
They certainly can.
Are you nervous?
No, I'm not nervous.
Well, Mr. Dugdale's got a train to catch, Henry, so we'll have to keep this fairly short. I hope you don't mind.
Not at all.
Why do you want this job?
Because I think I can do it. It's a challenge, and I always respond to a challenge. I also think it's the next logical step in my career.
Had you rehearsed that?
No.
Well, it certainly will be a challenge. You saw what happened to Osborne. You'll be placed under a very great deal of pressure, Henry.
Yes, I appreciate that, FG.
What are you like under pressure?
I can take it.
Are you comfortable in that chair, Henry?
It just needs a minor adjustment, FG.
Henry, what qualities do you think are particularly important in this job?
Oh, getting on with people.
Yes.
Achieving one's objectives with tact and diplomacy.
Right, Henry.
That's all very well, but sometimes one has to take a tough decision. One has to be unpopular.
I can be unpopular.
And disliked.
I can be disliked.
Yes, but it is important, isn't it, in dealing with staff that one uses...
Tact and diplomacy.
Yes, and treats them with courtesy and respect. We need someone who can lead by example. Someone who not only respects his staff, but is respected by them. Someone they can look up to.
I do agree, FG. I think you expressed that extremely well.
Is there something wrong with that chair, Henry? Or are you getting shorter?
It's the base, FG. That's the problem. So, excuse me.
Perhaps it would be better if you sat on another chair, Henry.
Certainly, FG.
Yes. Another question, Mr. Dugdale.
Oh, yeah. So you think you can do this job, Willows? You sound confident, maybe overconfident. Might I suggest that confidence could be misplaced? We had the same assurances from Osborne, and what happened? Stretched out amongst the runner beans with the figures 3 months late. I consider the department tardy and inefficient, and if things don't improve, heads will roll. You find that amusing?
No? But after all, we're only going through the motions, aren't we? This job is cut and dried, isn't it?
Well, how did you know?
Because I heard it from a very reliable source. And since Mr. Dugdale has a train to catch, why don't we stop the charade and just tell me who's got the job?
Well, you have, Henry.
Yes, well, if you think I'm going to work with...
Well, we had to go through the interviews, but it always was really a foregone conclusion. After all, you've been doing all the work and doing it most satisfactorily.
But we would prefer you didn't say anything until the others have been officially informed. There have been far too many rumours flying around this office. I don't know where they come from.
I think I do.
Well, now you know something that they don't, Henry.
Should we talk money?
Certainly.
Well, Henry,
Well?
how did it go?
Chair collapsed.
No. Oh, bad luck.
One of those things.
But what about the interview?
Interview? Difficult to say. Just have to wait and see, I suppose.
You've no idea then?
Didn't say anything to me. I don't suppose they'll keep us waiting long.
No.
Congratulations, Dad.